Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Hey, it's Kim Commando Today, your daily podcast to keep you up to date with all things digital and beyond. And I'd love to have you be a part of our podcast. You can make an appointment to speak with me. Just head over to commando.com, and on the top right, there's a button that says Email Kim. Fill that out, and that's it. I always like to kick things off with something fun and interesting. We all know this excuse. Yes, the dog ate my homework. Yeah, no one's believing that anymore because everything's digital, right? Well, what about if my cat jumped on my keyboard? Okay, this really happened. A technician at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in Kansas City, Missouri, he's just sitting there doing all his own work when his cat jumped on his keyboard. And when the cat did, it just wiped out the medical center server. It was down for 4 hours. Man. So how did this happen? Don't ask me. Meow. Oh, yeah. On that happy note, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And for those of you joining us for the first time, a big welcome, a hug to you. We're just thrilled to have you aboard. And to our loyal listeners, a huge welcome back. You look just amazing today. I'm, of course, Kim Commando, America's digital goddess, here with you. It's the biggest show. It's the best show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. And you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top radio stations throughout the United States. And of course, we're always streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Commando. And you can find us as a podcast, as a webcast, commercial free over inside the Commando community. Just hit commando.com and hit that button that says community. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 U.S. service members in 175 countries and 200 ships at sea. Get the Kim Commando Show. Just love that. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open just for you at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And if you're just too shy to come on a big-time show and podcast, hey, I get that. What you want to do is just drop me your question right through the website at commando.com. There's a link that says Email Kim. All right, just for you, I check out over 35 different websites every single day to make sure that we're both up to date. And here are the top 5 things you need to know about tech right now. And let's start with this past week's emergency alert test. It's being called a huge success. You know, most phones received a dual tone alert at 18 minutes past 2 Eastern. That was 2 minutes earlier than scheduled. But in reality, this test didn't prove much, and here's the reason why. It's called the Wireless Emergency Alert. It was conducted by FEMA and the FCC. Now, despite the government saying, oh, we're so great and patting each other on the back, it really is a false sense of security. Now, follow me on this, because this past week, everything was fine. They had weeks of preparations, lots of time to get things in order. In a real emergency, a hurricane, a tornado, or God forbid, a war, there would be no time to make things perfect. You know, many cell transmission sites would probably be down. We saw this with Superstorm Sandy in New York, and last year, that destructive Hurricane Ian. So remember, this past week's test wasn't real. It was just a test. Coming in at number 2, the Airbnb guest from Hello. That's right. When Sancha Jovanik, an Airbnb host in California, rented his guest house to a woman by the name of Elizabeth Hirschhorn, he didn't expect her to stay forever. But she has lived in his guest house for over 540 days for free. Oh my gosh. You see, Sasha approved her for a long-time stay via Airbnb. Everything was okay. But then Elizabeth started complaining about mold around the sink. And then he said, well, why don't you go to a hotel until things get better? And she said, no, I'll just stay here. So now comes her Airbnb checkout date. She couldn't find a place to stay, she says. And so Sasha, he's a nice guy. He's a dentist. He let her stay there for a few days off the Airbnb platform. Okay, remember that, off the Airbnb platform. And that's where he made the mistake. This deal off the platform turns Elizabeth from a guest to a tenant. And LA has this thing called the Rent Stabilization Ordinance. So he takes the case to court. Sasha does. Things don't play out very well. The judge says that the guest house does not have a certificate of occupancy. So this effectively makes her rent $0. Okay. The guest house isn't in compliance either. It does have mold. But rather than making her leave, so the necessary upgrades can be done, the city allows her to stay there and not pay rent. Oh my gosh, what a nightmare scenario. So remember, always stay on that Airbnb platform. All right, number 3, you need to talk to your kids about this one. There's a huge story in the Washington Post about this. Parents Lynn and Paul were sitting at home one night when their son Michael dove straight into his mom's purse. And the dad says, "Hey, what's going on?" Then came out the truth. Michael was being blackmailed. He was talking to a person on Snapchat and Instagram who said that they were a 16-year-old girl. Mike didn't know her, but the account looked real. They started flirting. Then the so-called girl asked for a naked pic from Michael. And she said, "Oh, I want to see your face in it too." So he sends her that picture. And suddenly the girl that Michael had been talking to wanted hundreds of dollars to be sent to her through Zelle. If he refused, they said that all these pictures would be sent to his best friends. So this is just not an isolated case. This is happening all across the country. So what you need to do is talk to the teens in your family about this, and maybe even share that Washington Post story. I mean, just go ahead and say, "Hey, give this a read." And they may say, "Oh, I'll never fall for that. I'm never going to do that, Mom or Dad or Grandma or Grandpa." And we hope that they never do, but at least you planted the seed. Again, just share that story off with them. Coming in at number 4, let's talk about Peeping Toms. Oh, my gosh, this is disgusting. Annabelle Davis was trying on some swimsuits at a Target store when she noticed something odd. She saw a phone above the doorway recording her. The same thing happened to Emily when she was putting on Halloween costumes at Forever 21. She looked down and she saw a phone propped on a pair of jeans. Turns out one guy, Anthony DeLapp, was recording them. He was put in prison for 3 years. Now, obviously, he's not the only one out there doing this. Women nationwide are reporting a new kind of violation, one using a smartphone. We all know that story on an American Airlines flight, too, with that 14-year-old girl finding a phone in a bathroom. So here's what you need to do. When you go into a dressing room, do a little inspection. Stay alert. Any place where you change clothes. Gyms, day spas, even hotel rooms. Now, there are some hidden camera detection apps for both Androids and iPhones, and we have them over on the website over at Commando.com. And finally, this coming in at number 5, watch out for celebrity deepfakes. Now, I'm not sure if you know who Mr. Beast is, but he is huge, and he puts on these elaborate contests and some big-time videos. He actually is pretty philanthropic with all of his ways, too. And he has 167 million YouTube subscribers, more than any other individual creator on the platform. He also has 85 million followers on TikTok, 39 million more on Instagram. So here's what was posted on TikTok this past week. Take a listen.
Watching this video, you're one of the 10,000 lucky people who'll get an iPhone 15 Pro for just $2. I'm Mr. Beast, and I'm doing the world's largest iPhone 15 giveaway. Click the link below to claim yours now.
Okay. Totally sounds like him. And I know if you're listening as a podcast and that you're like, does it really look like him, Kim? You know what? It looks just like Mr. Beast, but it's totally a deep fake video, deep fake audio. So it was also Tom Hanks this past week. He was out saying, hey, it's not me pitching a dental kit on Instagram. So bottom line for all of us is the next time you stumble upon a celebrity just hawking products or causes, if it smells off, it probably isn't. Always do your homework.
Get cash for clothes at Plato's Closet in North Charleston and West Ashley. It's so easy. Recycle, earn cash, repeat. We pay cash on the spot for your trendy, gently used clothing, shoes, and accessories. At Plato's Closet, we buy all seasons, all day, every day. It's time to clean out your closet and cash in. Bring in your denim, graphic tees, athletic wear, shoes, handbags, and more. Sell your styles to Plato's Closet for cash. Then, do it again. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
Sandra in El Paso, Texas. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. What's going on? How can I lend a hand?
Oh, I have a bit of a long story, but
Okay.
I try to make it short. I found out recently that somebody hacked into my phone using the dark web. They were able to listen to phone calls that I had already made. They had access to my gallery and saw some pictures of the personal kind. Also, they hacked into a messaging app, and they were able to track someone that I've been in contact with.
Okay.
And my question, I know there's not much I can do or prove, but do you have any input, anything that I can do or should have done? I guess the should have doesn't matter anymore, but from this point forward to protect myself and the other person.
So the person who says that they have copies of everything that you've done on your phone?
Yes.
And do you have proof of this?
No, but they mentioned details that I have said only on those conversations.
And so, are you in a situation where they're trying to use all of these phone calls and pictures against you?
Yes. It's actually my husband, and I've been trying to get a divorce for a while. It hasn't happened for whatever reason. So he's using this as to blackmail me, pretty much, that if I leave or file for divorce, he's going to show those things to family and friends. And
wait a second. So this is your husband. You're married, right? And he
Yes.
says that if you try to divorce him, he's going to share all this, your personal photos with family and friends?
Pretty much anybody that I know and he knows. Yes.
That's awful. Why would you stay with a person like that?
I know. I'm just wondering what can I actually do legally, because I don't have any proof unless I leave and then find out he actually has everything he says.
Well, I'm not a lawyer. I can't give you legal advice, but threatening someone with the release of what we would say private and embarrassing information, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is illegal in many jurisdictions. And only in your state, I'm not familiar with the laws of Texas, a lawyer in Texas will be able to tell you if that being the case. Do you have any close friends or family who could give you some emotional support like in this time?
Yes, I'm good on that side.
Okay. Are you worried that he can hack into your phone now and get more evidence of you having an affair?
Yes.
Okay, so
I'm not so worried about me, but the other person. What can he actually access from my account? I mean, he would get personal information if he actually has listened to conversations, but can he also hack into his phone?
That I don't know. Anything's possible. Anything connected to the internet, Sandra, is hackable. If he has the person's name, he can certainly go on to different websites and figure out where he lives, where he works. A lot of people just put this up on LinkedIn, not thinking about it. He could send this person as simple as an electronic greeting card. And if this person clicks on a card and then it's going to download a secret keylogger, I mean, these type of things exist. And so what you want to do is make sure, number one, that your digital life is locked down. You can do a whole factory reset on your phone, and that would hopefully wipe out any type of spyware or malicious software that may be installed on your phone. And you also want to set up new accounts and use, strong passwords, two-factor authentication. Whatever you do, don't click any links that he sends you.
Oh, no. And he didn't do anything with my phone. He contacted someone on the dark web, and whoever that person was able to access my phone. There's nothing on my phone. I already done a reset.
Okay.
But
so there's nothing on your phone right now?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so you want to keep your phone very sterile, keep it that way. and make sure that, you don't put anything on it. Don't go, make sure you're not going to any kind of weird websites or different websites. Make sure that all your cloud accounts are locked down. I'm talking about iCloud and Dropbox and Google Drive. You want to make sure that they have all new passwords, because he might have access to that content as well as any saved content. But in answer to whether or not that your husband can go ahead and hack the person that you had the affair with on their phone, really anything's possible. Truly anything is possible. But all of this is just a symptom of a problem. The problem is that you're in a crappy marriage. Okay. And I don't know how you could even look at a person that you used to love, obviously, or else you wouldn't have married him. Look at this person, and he looks at you and says, either you stay or I'm going to release your naked pictures out to your family members and friends and tell them everything that you did. Okay. Relationships are based on trust. You know this. So if I were you, I'd figure out how I could safely remove myself out of this relationship. That's why I asked if you had any type of support system. Contact a lawyer. Tell them about the blackmail, because it is illegal in many jurisdictions. And if you fear for your safety, make sure that you go to a location that you can trust and that this guy's not aware of. For a person to say what he said to you and for you to continue to live with this, you need to get out of this situation. You just need to get out of it, because I'm telling you, if this guy went on the dark web to get onto your phone, he's probably has already, if he hasn't done it already, he's going to do that to whoever you were having that affair with. And that person needs to be aware as well. Sandra, thank you so much for your call. If I can help you anymore, just give me a call back. These are always tough calls to take because, I'm not in that situation. I don't understand, what's really happening in her life. But I will tell you this, that if you're in a relationship and if somebody has any bit of tech savviness, you need to go through the whole gamut. You need to change all your passwords. You need to reset a factory reset on all your devices. And we've got a lot of tips and lists on how to do all this over on the website at commando.com. Once again, that's commando.com with a K.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can. In the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Let's talk about your subscriptions. Yeah, I know. Everywhere you look, somebody's asking for subscriptions. But the subscription inattention is what's making the big bucks because it can boost our business's revenue by as much as 200%. That's according to research at Stanford and Texas A&M. So how do you remind yourself to cancel something if you're not using it anymore? Number one, as soon as you sign up, set a reminder on your phone, your calendar, or even stick a note on your fridge. Number two, cancel right after subscribing. What? Yeah. You probably can still enjoy a full trial period, but just check their policies first. Number three, try Rocket Money. This app identifies your subscriptions to help you stop paying for things that you just don't need anymore. I mean, no kidding. I saved $456.76 in subscriptions in 5 minutes by using Rocket Money. But Rocket Money does more than just track your subscriptions. The other day, it's just kind of crazy story. I got an alert from Rocket Money about an overdraft charge on my checking account. I was like, what the heck is this about? So I called my bank. They said it was a mistake on their part. They reversed the charge and then they apologized. But frankly, I probably would not have noticed this without getting that notification from Rocket Money. They used to be a sponsor. They're not a sponsor anymore, but it's definitely a great product. All right, David in Knoxville, Tennessee.
I've got two stepsons, and they're constantly, they're on their Xboxes all weekend, and I'm constantly having to get on to them about screaming. And so I'm wondering, are there any devices on the market that I could hook up to those Xboxes that if they got above a certain decibel level that it would cut them off?
So how loud are they?
They gets pretty intense sometimes where they're screaming at their friends online. I'm sure you know how that is.
Oh, just when you were saying that, I was thinking like, there were times when I would hear my son on his Xbox screaming, and I thought like he was getting hurt or something. I'm like,
it's the same way.
Like, are you all right? I mean, all right. So these are your stepkids, and they're super loud.
Yes,
what happens when you try to just tell them to like simmer down? Doesn't work?
I get, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. Of course, that just goes out the window. I even have through our router. I'll cut their internet off through the router by my phone.
Oh, ouch! That's a bad one. Okay, sorry, boys, not listening. Got to feel. There you go. Okay, well, what you can do is and they have these in classrooms, and it looks like a stoplight. We'll send you the link over to you so you can check it out. It's like a stoplight, and when the decibel level gets, when it's green, the stoplight's green, it's like it's okay. When it's yellow, they're getting too loud. And
okay.
When it's red, that's when it's like, okay, you just need to simmer down. So what you can do is just put the stoplight right in their room, and then it gives them a visual. Are they wearing gaming headsets?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that means that's why they can't hear themselves. So this would be just a visual way for them to look at it. It's called a yacker tracker. I mean, I don't name it. I just talk about this stuff. But again, it goes just green, yellow, red, and it does it by decibel level that you set. Now, if you wanted to get really creative, and if you wanted to be kind of a geek of the week, is that there's a website called If Then There Else, or no, IFTTT. Okay. And this is a way for you to set up subroutines. And so by using, say, a smart home hub with a smart device, is that you could set up a routine if there was a sound sensor in the room that when it got above a certain decibel level, is that it would cut off the power to the router.
Oh, sweet.
But this is going to require some homework and some steps for you to figure all out. They also have something called a Raspberry Pi, which is a cheapo computer. It's about $30, and it's really made for these type of homegrown solutions. And so if maybe this is something you can get the guys involved in, say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to build our own controller for your volume. But this is pretty typical because with the gaming headsets, they keep the volume up really high in their ears. Mm-hmm. And so they don't really realize who they're talking to or how loudly they are. But yeah, I do remember that when Ian was, in high school, that would just be like bellowing down the hall and it'd be like, oh my gosh, can you just keep it down just a little bit? So before you go the whole, let's build our own solution with a smart plug and sensor and a Raspberry Pi or Arduino board, just try the traffic light. Maybe it'd be as simple as that. And so hang on the line. Amber, our lovely and talented screener today, among other things, is here on board. And so she's going to give you a link over to that Yacker tracker so you can take a look at it. And David, thank you for your call. The guy probably wishes that he had $1 for every time he said, turn it down, turn it down. Yeah, we've all been there, right? Now, let me tell you something. If you have a pulse, if you have an internet connection, companies want all the details they can get on you, and they're willing to pay for it. So let's talk about retailers. They're now tracking what we all purchase, and they're now using that data to influence our buying patterns. We all have those loyalty programs. You know what I'm talking about. You go to the store, and this is, unless you have the card, you're going to pay more money. And you're like, okay, I need the card. Here's my phone number. Okay, what about mobile apps? They take it just a step further. I mean, all those notifications for coupons, not a coinky-dinky. Now, what about Wi-Fi and Bluetooth? These are beacons that are mapping everywhere you go in the store, especially if you connect to the free Wi-Fi in the store. Somewhere in those terms and conditions that you just say, oh, yeah, I'm good with all that, is that it says, we're just going to track you and we're going to sell all that data. So these Bluetooth beacons, that works kind of the same way. It pings your phone to document the path and the places where you stopped within a retail location. Now, point of sale systems, they also document your purchase histories, and they connect you to your email address or maybe your phone number. So how can you take back your purchasing power? Okay, number one, if you installed any retail apps on your phone, you want to uninstall them. Now, if you can't part with them, what I want you to do is to get in there and disable the location settings. Limit using the loyalty cards. Now, the fewer that you sign up for, the better off that you are. What I find is when I'm shopping, I just ask the cashier, I forgot my card and I'm not sure what phone number. Can I just use yours? And, 10 times out of 10, they'll be like, sure, you can use mine. If you're in a store, switch off Bluetooth. This way you're not tracked by the beacons that are in the stores. And also know your rights. If you're using a retailer's website or app, there's usually a section where you can opt out of specific data collection or sharing methods. You can turn off your location history in Google. We have the steps on how to do that. You can browse in incognito mode. And make sure that you delete old accounts. Just delete.me. It's really a great website. It provides direct links to delete your accounts for so many online sites and services. And you can also see how companies view and are handling your data. And you should also be using a VPN because this hides your IP address from retailers. And let me tell you, it works on your phone too. And of course, my pick is ExpressVPN. And you can get 3 months free by going to expressvpn.com/Kim. All right, I know you're sitting there going, oh gosh, I want to be able to read all about this. Well, that's when you head over to the website, commando.com, and hit that link that says show pics.
This episode is brought to you by Kia's first 3-row, all-electric SUV, the Kia EV9, with available all-wheel drive and seating for up to 7 adults, with 0 to 60 speed that thrills you 1 minute, and available lounge seats that unwind you the next. Visit kia.com/EV9 to learn more. Ask your Kia dealer for availability. No system, no matter how advanced, can compensate for all driver error and or driving conditions. Always drive safely.
Talking about tracking, it's so easy for your phone number to be added to a marketing list. And there are ways that you can hide your phone number. Of course, the easiest is to use *67, which hides your landline or your cell number. Just punch in *67 followed by the number you're calling, and that's it. The caller will see private or blocked. And let me tell you something else. Okay, one of the things that you need to do, I've already talked about it once, is I want you to just try our newsletters. It's super easy to sign up. It's super easy to cancel. I mean, we have over 600,000 people that are getting our newsletters every single day. We're talking about folks that work at Apple, Amazon, the FBI, NASA. You should be on that list too. And you can sign up right now over at getkim.com. And if you used to get our newsletters before and you're like, oh, Kim Commando, they were horrible. You know what? They were junky. I admit it, but I've totally blew them up and we're redoing them. I'm actually personally writing them in the morning and the afternoons. And so let me tell you, in my humble opinion, of course, they're great. And so just go ahead and try it. Do me a favor. And again, if you don't like it, you can always unsubscribe. And you can do all this over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. Marianne in beautiful Tempe, Arizona.
I get a whole bunch of your emails, and when I get the chance, I listen to your show. And so I totally believe in what you do, but it was interesting that I shared your column about Temu on my Facebook page, and boy, did a lot of people jump on me that you didn't know what you were talking about, and it's a scam. They're just trying to get information. And I said, no, I don't think so. I said, Kim's been the digital goddess for a lot of years.
Well, I'm not a fan of Temu, Marianne. Mm-hmm. It's owned by the Chinese. Okay. The transactions happen through another Chinese company. And it all reports back to, guess what? China.
Wow.
And I know a lot of people say, oh gosh, but I can get like some really good cheap junk there and stuff. And I shop there a lot, and I've got $5 Croc knockoffs, and I've got a USB cable that only cost me 50 cents, and I've been getting a lot of flack about this because I came out in the spring and said, for everybody who's shopping on Temu, I just want to let you know that they're collecting a lot of your data. That not just of your shopping habits, data that you have on your phone. You're giving a lot of permissions out. It's reporting everything back to China. And I know a lot of people say, well, can I shop on the website? You could probably do that if you use a VPN. They're not going to be tracking what you do. It's kind of like TikTok. It's the same thing. TikTok is on everybody's phones. 150 million Americans are on TikTok every single day. Imagine if our productivity could increase with those 150 million people doing something other than watching videos.
Sure.
But I digress. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily just the tracking that I'm concerned about, whether it's Temu or TikTok. There's also a bigger picture, because think of the power that China has on these 150 million Americans. I mean, Temu is the number one shopping app. TikTok is right up there as well. Imagine if they wanted to send a notification to every single person's phone that we're in the middle of a nuclear attack. And they deep fake President Biden talking about how you need to go home, protect your family. Just AI. That's what I'm concerned about. What if the Chinese use all this power to bring down the power grid, which they could do if they did enough denial of service tax? That's what I'm concerned about. Okay. So should you shop on it and get all the Chinese junk? Okay. You know what? If you want Chinese junk, go ahead and do it. Don't use the app, use the website, and use a VPN. Okay. But just keep in mind that everything that you're doing is being sent right into communist China. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but who knows what they're going to do with it? But they have a profile on every American.
That's kind of scary. I didn't realize TikTok was just as bad as I don't use TikTok. And I don't use Temu. I didn't use it before. I looked at the products and just said, how can they do it that cheap? It's got to be a piece of you know what. So when I saw your article, then I was even happier that I didn't. I just felt I should share it. And
well, I'm glad that you did. And I'm telling you, Marianne, I'm getting a lot of flack from it. I am. And people are saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know. You know what? You go read the permissions. You go read the terms and conditions. You go see what you're doing when you're handing over your credit card and opening up your phone to not only your fingerprints, but also your voice prints, and you're giving them access to every photo in your gallery and all your locations.
Oh gosh!
I mean, these are the permissions that. But then they say, oh, but you know what? I love TikTok and I love Temu and I love, you know what? China, they're smart. They're smart. Mm-hmm. Okay, and they're not just giving out this stuff just because they're trying to be nice people. They're not. They're our enemy. They're an enemy of our state. And I think a lot of people get complacent when this happens, when they can get a good deal or they can watch a video or whatever it is. I mean, it's a tough nut where it is right now. So, Marianne, you did the right thing. Okay, it's my column's not a scam. I'm not a scam, and thanks for sticking up for me. Us girls got to do that, Marianne. We got to do that. Thank you for telling me what's going on, and thanks for your call. Now, if you'd like to read the column that I wrote for USA Today and Fox News and New York Post and all those other places, just head over to the website and just search for Temu. That's Temu. I actually wrote it this past spring, but for some reason it's going viral. I'm like, where have all you people been? But that's okay. Again, head over to the website and just search for Temu. Okay, advertisers are notorious for watching what we do and where we go online. It's valuable. It's very profitable for them. But there's a secret that the online advertisers do not want you to know. Okay, let's talk about cookies. Think of it as a trail that you leave behind whenever you're online, wherever you go. It keeps things like your login info and the shopping cart contents, but they can be invasive. You see, companies use cookies to track where you go and what you do online. They'll even do it on a website other than just the one that you're visiting. They're called tracking cookies. But advertisers love cookies because they help customize the ads that you see. So if the ads appeal to you, you're going to click them, which means what? A higher ROI for them. But now for the secret. You can opt out of cookies. Here's where you go. Optout.aboutads.info. I know, it's a mouthful. Optout.aboutads.info. We've got a lot more details and links about this over on our website. Just go ahead and search for opt out of cookies. All right. If you learned one thing, if you laughed at one of my really bad jokes, I get that. Tell 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show and also our podcast, Kim Komando Today, because let me tell you, everyone needs more tech smarts And knowledge is power, and you can always find me, and I love to get your questions over on the website. That's commando.com with a K, of course.
This program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can. In the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Get cash for clothes at Plato's Closet in North Charleston and West Ashley. It's so easy. Recycle, earn cash, repeat. We pay cash on the spot for your trendy, gently used clothing, shoes, and accessories. At Plato's Closet, we buy all seasons, all day, every day. It's time to clean out your closet and cash in. Bring in your denim, graphic tees, athletic wear, shoes, handbags, and more. Sell your styles to Plato's Closet for cash. Then, do it again. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.